How about that? I am upping the production value to virtual math. That was awesome. Kind of impressed with myself. Honestly, I don't even know if that just worked. We'll find out at the end. Happy Thursday, Throwback Thursday. I got to find my shirt can be my throwback. This is from my first year of teaching. I guess I had an owl theme. Shout out to the Calder family for that one. I'm shocked it still fits. I guess that's a good thing. All right, days 1 and 2, heard from a lot of people, seeing some good scores. Obviously, that's a good thing. I only had one volunteer to help me co-host the Zoom. So I think I'm going to have Olivia and possibly her sister help me out next week. And guys, you can do this from your couch in your pajamas. You don't even have to be on camera. You can just use your voice. If you have an iPad or a Chromebook or a laptop, you just have to download the Zoom program. An account is free. And really, I'm just going to do the same thing I've been doing, except me doing the math. I might stop and ask you to do a question. Or if you want to be on camera, you can do that. So I'd like to get some volunteers. If not, as long as you're watching, that's good to me because you guys know this is not required. So that's awesome. Same deal as before. If you have not done day 3 in your packet yet, stop the video, go knock out these 12 questions, which are similar to yesterday. Day 4 is going to throw you something a little bit different, which is nice. But day 3 is kind of the last kind of similar thing that you've been doing for the first couple of days. So realistically, if you've been getting 12 out of 12, you should do it again today. If you've been getting 9 or 10, still a good number, but maybe today will be your day to get 12. So I just realized I didn't pull up the Pitt County packet, so I'm going to do that real quick. I'm not very prepared. Hopefully you guys at home are not going crazy quite yet. There are no sports on TV, so I've been watching TV with Laura. Yikes. She cries during Grey's Anatomy. It's fake. Anyways, all right. Day 3, number 1, it says, which fraction represents the equation 2/12 plus 7/12? So if you added those together, denominators are the same. They're going to stay the same. And then if you added your numerators together, you would get 9/12. And if you look at your answer choices, D would have been your answer. Not a big fan of that question. You would probably assume that once you did that math, you wouldn't see 9/12. And if you didn't, you could cross multiply your answer choices. You could simplify. But if it gives you that as an answer, you don't need to make that one harder than it has to be. You would just choose it. So not much of a challenge there. Hopefully we're getting that one right. I could see how, well, I could see how I wouldn't want somebody to. I could see how somebody would maybe pick C if they were adding those denominators, but you guys know that those are not going to change. All right, looking at number 2, we've got what fraction of the circle is shaded. If you're going to get a fraction from that, you would get your denominator from the total number of pieces, which there are 8. Shaded, there are 4. And honestly, I think this is just like the question yesterday where you can't miss it if you read it wrong. Like if you did what was unshaded, you would still get 4/8. But you don't see 4/8 as an answer choice. You can cross multiply, you can simplify. We will go ahead and simplify 4/8. We'll run through these steps again. You got to list all your factors for both numbers. 1 times 4, 2 times 2. You can put 2 twice if you want to. I usually don't. For 8, you could go 1 times 8. You could go 2 times 4. Then you got to find your GCF, the biggest number that they have in common. That would be 4. Then divide the numerator and denominator by your GCF. 4 divided by 4 is 1. A divided by 4 is 2, which gives you 1/2, which is B. Now, I've told you this in the past too. You know your fraction is going to be in simplest form if your numerator is 1. Now, you might have missed a factor, and you might have thought that your GCF was 2. And if you did that, you would have had 2/4. But you still got 2 even numbers there. That's why you should always check to see if you can simplify that. The only reason we're not doing it with 1/2 is just because the numerator is 1. But if you try to simplify 2/4, that could go down too. So technically you did simplify 4/8, but it wouldn't have been in simplest form if you put 2/4, which isn't an answer choice anyways. But number 2 would have been B. Feel pretty good about that one also, because reading it correctly or not, you're going to get that one. All right, number 3, effort question. I love these because an effort question doesn't mean it's challenging. It just means you got to do a little bit of work. It says, what fraction makes this true? And I actually remember a couple weeks ago possibly having some struggles with this. Some people didn't read the sign right. Some people just didn't do any work. But whatever fraction I'm putting right here has got to be greater than 4/5. Wherever that alligator's mouth is open is where there's more food. So we need to plug those fractions in and see which one of those would be greater. So if you plugged in A, 2/4, and went 4 times 4, you'd get 16. 5 times 2, you'd get 10. Clearly right there, that fraction is not greater. Ooh, can I do that? Nice. All right, then we will plug in B, 3/4. Oops. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 3 is 15. Getting close, but not quite. So then we would plug in C, which is 5/10. Again, you can look at some of these just knowing your facts and know they're not going to be correct, or they will be. But 10 times 4 is 40. 5 times 5 is 25. Clearly right there, not the answer, which only leaves us with one possible choice. D says 5/6. 6 times 4, 24. 5 times 5, 25. The math has proven that 5/6 is greater than 4/5. So number 3 should have been D. Ooh, all right. Number 4. This whole thing off. Number 4 says Jordan baked a cake that needed 3/8 a cup of flour, 4/6 a cup of sugar, 4/8 a cup of milk, and 3/12 a cup of butter. Which ingredient called for the largest amount? That word is bold for a reason. This is very fan 5-ish because if you tried to solve this problem the same way you solved it the past 2 days, you would have missed it, because I think days 1 and 2 was asking for the smallest amount. So you would still solve it the same way, but instead of looking for the least, now you're looking for the greatest. And again, it's not challenging. It just requires a little bit of work. So I've got flour, I've got sugar, I've got milk, I've got butter. 3/8 here, 4/6 here, 4/8 here, and 3/12 here. Honestly, you can start with whichever 2 you want. I'll just start with flour and sugar, cross multiplying if I want to see which one's the greatest. 8 times 4 is 32. 6 times 3 is 18. Again, I'm looking for the largest amount very clearly. Flour is going to get eliminated, and then I can start doing sugar and milk. 6 times 4 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. Largest amount between those 2 is going to be sugar, so milk's got to go. And then if I cross multiply sugar and butter, 6 times 3 is 18. 12 times 4 is 48. Sugar is very clearly a larger amount than butter, which would eliminate 3/12. and that would leave us with B, sugar. So hopefully you read that one correctly and found the right numbers or found the right fraction. Because multiplying those, you guys know your facts. That one, 1 through 4, feel pretty good about those. All right, moving on. Number 5 says, below shows the distance Christy ran each day. You got 4 different days. Wednesday was 2/6 of a mile. Thursday was 2/8 of a mile. Friday was 1/4 of a mile. And Saturday was 3/4 of a mile. It says on which 2 days did Christy run the same distance? That's a good question. Again, the same, you're looking for an equivalent amount, meaning you could cross multiply, and you just have to look at your answer choices. You got to try A, you got to try B, you got to try C. Now, I would still write it out the same way that I've been doing it. I'd still do my chart with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Is that right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Got 2/6, 2/8, 1/4. 3/4. And with how much like simplifying we've been doing the past couple of months, maybe even longer, you're getting to the point now where you can see a fraction, you can know, hey, I know that's equivalent, I can do this division, I can see it. I'm still going to show you the math. So A says Thursday and Saturday. So for Thursday and Saturday, you would cross multiply 2/8 and 3/4. Can I move this? Yeah. And if I cross multiply those, 8 times 3 is 24, 4 times 2 is 8. Very clearly not the same distance. So I would get rid of A. B says Friday and Saturday, which would be 1/4 and 3/4. Again, you can look at those two fractions and see they have the same denominator and eliminate that based off of their numerators. We'll check it anyways. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4, not the same distance. So we're eliminating answers, making this a little bit easier on us. What do we got? Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday is 2/6, Friday is 1/4. Cross multiply those, 6 times 1 is 6, 4 times 2 is 8. Again, not the same distance, which leaves us with our answer that we're gonna check anyways. It says Friday and Thursday, 1/4. 2/8, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 1 is 8. That would leave you with your answer of D, and all we had to do was get a little bit of cross multiplying on there. If you read that question and you saw same distance, that should lead you to think equivalent and kind of put you down the right path. All right, number 6, similar to 1. I liked it better yesterday when it gave you some whole numbers. I thought that was a really good question. And from talking to some parents and a couple of students, most people did really well on that one, which is good. All right, so it says which equation represents the fraction 5/8? Wouldn't waste my time with A, different denominators. Wouldn't waste my time with B, different denominators. I would look down at C and D because even though this is in fourths, the denominators are the same. You never know, you might have to simplify or cross multiply some. But if you look at C, it's going to stay in 8s. If you did 1 plus 2, you'd get 3. Plus 2 more, you get 5. That's going to give you 5/8 right out. And if you did solve D, you're going to get 5/4, which you know is improper. You'd fix it, convert it to a mixed number, and that would be more than 1. And 5/8 is obviously less than 1. So for number 6, I kind of flew through that one, but I think we're good on 6. That one should have been C. All right, number 7, Jerome rode his bike 8/12 miles, or 8/12 of a mile, because it's not a full mile. It says which fraction is equivalent to 8/12? Couple different possibilities here. You could simplify. There's a chance if you simplify, you might not see your answer, or you can cross multiply with your answer choices. I'm going to go ahead and take 8/12 and, oh, hey there. I'm going to take 8/12 and simplify it. Maybe. Let's see. 8/12, factors for 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. Factors for 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Looking for the GCF, greatest common factor, it would be 4. And then I have to divide my numerator and my denominator by my GCF. 8 divided by 4 would give me 2. 12 divided by 4 would give me 3. And if I am looking at my answer choices, that would give me B. Nope, I'm on the wrong question. That would give me, no, it is B. B, 2/3 for number 7. God, that's hot. All right, moving on to number 8. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, number 8. Deidre has a piece of paper with 6 flowers drawn on it. She shades in 2 of the flowers. What fraction of the flowers is left unshaded? Hopefully you're looking at your paper right now. Hopefully you have a picture with number 8. Hopefully you have the word unshaded underlined or circled or highlighted. And if you even rewrote the word unshaded, that is even better. EOG, effort. If you did all 3 of those things, boom, that's for you. And guys, this is one of those questions where if you have no idea what to do, just do exactly what the question says. If it says Deidre has a piece of paper with 6 flowers, I will draw 6 flowers. She shades in 2 of the flowers. What fraction is unshaded? Well, I know the denominator is going to be 6 because I have 6 flowers. And then just count what's unshaded. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Now, 4/6, not an answer choice. You're not going to panic. It's not improper, but it could be simplified. So we will do that with our listing our factors. Also could cross multiply with your answer choices if you want to. But if I listed my factors for 4 and 6, that GCF would be 2. And if I divided both of those, numerator and denominator, by 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. That would leave me with 2/3, which is B for number 8. So I do like that it made you simplify. It didn't give you the answer choice. And look, you've been doing that with much bigger numbers than 6 and 2. That one comes down to reading. Again, I really wish that you had a certain answer choice on there because I think people would have picked it. I think a lot of people would have said that what was left unshaded was 2/6, and then they wouldn't have seen that answer. They would have simplified it down to 1/3. I wish that was an answer choice because I bet you on the EOG you will see that as an answer choice. So if you originally had started with 2/6, got 1/3, didn't see your answer, hopefully you went back and reread it and you didn't just choose something that was close. But just go ahead and bank on seeing that as an answer choice or something like that for an answer choice on those types of questions. All right, number 9. We've got maybe Jan ate 4 cookies. Carly ate 3 times as many cookies than Carly. How many cookies did Carly eat? I really like this question. I've got a whole like Fan 5 type of lesson set on these multiplicative comparison questions that we'll get to next week, maybe beyond that. I don't know how it's going to go. But you should have seen those words 3 times as many and instantly thought box method. I totally understand that's not the only way to do it. And for this question, it might not even be the easiest way to do it. But when I see times as many, I will always either do a chart or always do that box method. So it's been a little while since you've seen it. I'll show it to you to remind you. And if you did the box method on this one, I'd be really impressed. So when it says Jan ate 4 cookies, blah, 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 but when it says 3 times as many, you got to pull 2 things out. In this case, we're dealing with people. We've got Jan, we've got Carly. Now, with the box method, we know somebody's going to get 3 boxes because they have 3 times as many. And then the other person's just going to get 1. So you've got to decide who gets the 3 boxes. If it says Carly ate 3 times as many, that means Carly's going to get the 3 boxes, and Jane is going to get 1. Now, all you got to do is use the information that the question gives you. It says Jane ate 4 cookies. Look at Jane's picture. Jane has 1 box. If she ate 4 cookies, that means that box is worth 4. That means every box is worth 4. Boom, boom, boom. Now, I'm just realizing I forgot the most important thing. I should have done something before I did any work. I need to put a star somewhere. Once I read the question, it said, how many cookies did Carly eat? I should have put a star right here. So I made sure that I gave the right answer. But once you do that, look at Carly's picture. You could do 4 plus 4 plus 4. You could do 4 times 3, and that would give you 12, which is C. The reason why I like that box method, just because it says 3 times as many does not always mean you're just going to multiply. It depends who has 3 times as many. It depends what information it gives you. But if you use the box method, you're always kind of able to figure it out. This question could have very easily said, how many cookies did they eat combined? You still would have done the same work, but then you would have had to add Jane's total to the front. There are maybe 6 or 7 different types of multiplicative comparison questions that you can do with these, and we're going to see them all. Just a matter of when I'm going to do it, but that's a really good question. You haven't seen one like that on days 1 and 2. I'm looking at day 4. You got one on day 4. You got one on day 5. So you'll see a couple of those. So if you missed that one today, honestly wouldn't expect you to miss that one, but if you did miss it today, you haven't seen it the past couple of days. So that's not a huge deal. But for number 9, you would have had C there. I love those questions. All right, looking at number 10, most missed question yesterday. From the people that I heard from, if they missed a question, 10 was one of them. And 10 was pretty consistent among most of the people that I heard from. Or no, I'm sorry, this isn't the same question. No, yesterday was talking multiples. This is talking factors of 10. What I just said for the past 20 seconds, ignore it. So which list contains factors for 10? So factors and multiples are different. Multiples are what you're multiplying a number by and getting. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. On and on and on. It's almost like a pattern. With factors, those are the numbers that you multiply to get a number. So when we're talking factors of 10, I'm looking down here at what I can multiply to get 10. And this one says which list contains those factors. It doesn't say all of them, but if you're looking at A, you can do 1 times 10. You can do 2 times 5. Those are factors for 10, and they are all factors of 10. All of the factors of 10. Now, for B, you can do 1 times 10. 2 is a factor of 10. So this one really should have said which list contains all the factors. Because 2 is a factor, but you'd have to have a 5 on there as well. So if it was asking for all of them, you'd eliminate B. Guys, you're multiplying, so you're making numbers bigger. You can get rid of C and D right away. Because with C, if you see 15, you can't do 15 times anything to get 10. And D, they did not list factors of 10, they list multiples. So if you did this question like you did it yesterday and you didn't read it, I'd be willing to bet some people are going to choose D because they're going to give me the multiples of 10 when in reality I was looking for the factors. And we throw that word factor around a bunch because of how much we simplify. So I'd be bummed if you missed 10 for that reason, but we should know what our factors of 10 are. 10 and beyond with how well you guys know your facts. All right, number 11, old school place value question. I want to say this may be the first 2 weeks of school we did place value. So it goes a little bit with the question yesterday, but it says, what is the expanded form of 120,368? So let me get that number written on the whiteboard. Remember we talked about expanded, we talked about a stomach on, talked about a stomach on Thanksgiving, how it likes to expand, stretch out. And you got to know your values when we're doing our extended or our expanded form because you're going to give a value for each number. And you got to know your place value. So if we're starting at the 8, we go from ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, hundred thousands. So if we have a 1 in the 100,000s place, that means you have 100,000 plus you have a 2 in the 10,000s place. So if you have two 10,000s, 100,000 plus 20,000, you have a 0 in the thousands place. Now, you could put a 0 there and I wouldn't count it wrong. You'll never see it as an answer choice. It's not going to have 0 as a value. So you'd kind of skip that one. And then you would have a 3 in the hundreds place. If you have 3 hundreds, you'd go 300 plus 6 tens would be 60, plus 8 ones would be 8. And looking at the answer choice, that would be D. If you're looking at A, they did everything right except for with 23,000, they added the 10,000s with the thousands, but they put the 3 in the thousands place, so there's actually a lot wrong there. With B, you might have missed a 0 on 100,000 when you looked at that, so you got to look at it carefully. C's all jacked up, but D would have been your answer there. And you can see there that they didn't put the 0 for the thousands, and they never will. So you got to know your values, you got to know your place value on that one, and I feel pretty good about that. Last one. Number 12, it says the bakery made 148 cupcakes each day. How many cupcakes will they make in a week? Really, the only thing you had to know on this is how many days are in a week, which I hope we know that. And if not, guys, figure it out. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Boom, 7 days. So if I'm doing 148 Monday, 148 Tuesday, 148, you could add those together. It would make a lot more sense for us to do some multiplication. If you know your facts, you're golden. So you're going to go 7 times 8. You'd get 56. Boom, boom. Carry that 5 over. Don't forget it. Then I go across 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 5 gives me 33. 3 stays, 3 goes. And then I'll go 7 times 1 and get 7 plus 3 and get 10, which leaves me with D, 1,036 cupcakes. Why it has dollar signs on there, I don't know. I didn't make it, so. But those are your questions 1 through 12. Most very similar to the questions you have already seen. Same deal as yesterday. Please, please, please send me a message. Let me know how you did on day 3. If you missed one, tell me which one you missed. If you have questions on one, ask them. I'm going to go ahead and post another video this morning for day 4. But what you can do is just worry about day 3 today. Or wait, what's today? Thursday. If you want to double up, do it. But I'm going to have day 3 posted. I'm going to have day 4 posted. That way I can do day 5 tomorrow and we'll be all caught up since I didn't have one on Friday or on Monday. So knock those out. Give your brain a little bit of a break, and then pop back in here for day 4. Also, I want volunteers to help me host these videos. Don't be shy. If you only want to do half of it, or if you only want to do one question, you can just do one question. Send me a message. It would be awesome. Your classmates are sick of seeing this face. I'm sure they would like to see some different faces. So if you want to help me out, go for it. Thank you guys for watching. Keep working hard. Miss you. See you soon.